you've decided to pick up Red Steel, Ubisoft's blast through the Yakuza underworld. You're doing alright with the gunplay, but when it's time to flash the blade, you end up sliced and diced. Believe it or not, there are some simple techniques you can use to get through all the sword fights in the game. You can thank us later.
I can't live with this failure. Let me die here.
While the game asks you to build all your sword skills, including parrying and staggering enemies, and tells you that you should balance your sword breaking with regular slashes, it's not exactly necessary. You can use one technique to complete just about any sword fight with the enemy at your mercy. First of all, learn how to stagger your enemy. You do this by jerking the nunchuck controller to the left just as the thug strikes. When you do this, they'll be on their heels for a brief moment. This is your time to strike. But don't use a normal slash with the Wii Remote. Instead, strike with the nunchuck. This will cause damage to the enemy's weapon. Follow up with as many normal strikes with the Wii Remote as possible. Repeat this process over and over, and either you'll break the enemy's weapon or defeat him outright long before your life bar is empty. In fact, always try to strike with the nunchuck when possible. Another cheaper tactic that surprisingly works is to simply wave the Wii Remote constantly for the duration of the fight. It can take a lot of patience to whittle down the enemy this way, but more times than not, you'll eventually win. This is a good technique to use on some of the more difficult boss characters in the game, but be warned, it can take a long time. If you can't pull off the stagger technique, or aren't patient enough or in good enough shape to drop your foe with constant sword swipes, there is yet another way to take care of business. Later on in the game, you'll come across enemies that like to block everything. When they jump to attack, hold the C button on the nunchuck and tap left or right to dodge. This will leave the enemy open for a brief moment. Now hold the Z button on the nunchuck, and then pull the nunchuck and Wii Remote apart to perform a devastating strike. You don't learn this technique until a good ways into the game, but all it takes is a handful of these, and the goon will be finished in no time. When the fight is won, you have the option of finishing off your opponent or letting him live and earning honor points. Always show mercy. Of course, everyone will want to give in to their primal urge the first few times, but we suggest getting it out of your system and then starting a new game. Honor points will unlock new abilities that will make combat much easier to manage, yet you get nothing for being a brute. Cool your boots and let them live. It's worth it. With these techniques, the Yakuza will be at the mercy of your blade, and you'll be able to concentrate on the frantic gunfights that make playing Red Steel such a rush.